Hi guys, hope you're all well. Today we're just going to have a little bit of a play around. I've been seeing lots of jewellery everywhere with alcohol inks and foil. So I just fancied just making a block, having a play with a couple of different colours of alcohol ink, and then cutting some pendants out of the slab, I'll say. We're not doing a massive thing though guys, just enough to make a couple of pendants. Now I've got some scrap here. It's copper and gold and a bit of black, and there's some copper foil mixed in it. I'm just going to use this as my backing because it'll match. I'm going to use copper foil today, so I've just got some copper foil. Of course, use what you've got guys. And I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to get, but I do want to have a reasonable slab, so maybe a ½ centimetre thick. So I'll just go and get this. I've been holding it so it warms up. I'll get this thickened, rolled out, and see how much I've got. And I may put it through a bit thinner and back it on some black. But we'll see when I've conditioned it a bit better. So yeah, you just need some clay, some leaf, a couple of cutters or whatever, you know, freestyle it if you want. I've got my tub of alcohol inks out here. I don't know what colours I'm going to use yet, but I've just got mine out. And we're just going to flick some colour on and maybe put a little bit of alcohol on, and you know, just make a nice funky pattern to make some funky pendants. And I'm probably going to finish mine with UV resin guys, or varnish. I'll see how I feel when we're done, but we will need to put something on to protect the surface, so bear that in mind. If you're having a go at this, you know, use your varnishes or your resin, whatever you're comfortable in using. So I'll go and get this rolled out, and we'll take it from there guys. So I'll see you in a minute. Hi guys, okay, I've got my clay. I've conditioned my top on a 2, and I have added a black backing, which you can't see because I've trimmed it down, but you can see there they're both on a 2, so that's probably about 4mm thick. I keep that scrap to one side in case I just need a bit for something guys, but I've just tidied that up. Then it is better to play with foil. That's what I need next. So I'll just get myself a nice piece of foil, try and not rip it, and it goes on whole. There we go. And I'm just going to pop this down in this corner and smooth it all up my clay. Make sure there's no bubbles trapped. I'm just giving it a gentle burnish with my finger, just to make sure it's well and truly stuck down. And so let's see if I can break this away without making too much of a mess. Somebody said to me the other day, I'm sorry I can't remember who it is, I should maybe keep the foil trapped between the paper and trim it to the size I need, which I keep forgetting to do. So that would be better really, wouldn't it? But it wouldn't be the same if I wasn't creating a mess, would it? There, So, not worried about these edges, guys, because we're using cutters, aren't we? I'll just make sure that they're all pressed down, then nothing starts flapping. And I've just got these cutters because they'll just fit nicely onto that block, and then I might do a bit of something with the waist. We'll see when I've finished playing. And I think I might do some blues and greens, because with the copper it might look quite funky. So let's have a look. I've got denim here, Clover, Mermaid, some lovely greeny blues, turquoise. I think I'll stick to greeny blues. So I'm going to use Clover, which is on the green end, Mermaid, which is a kind of turquoise, and then I'm going to use turquoise, so they should all work well together. I've got some alcohol as well here, guys, and I think I'll just use a little mop brush to mop it around. So I've got a little dish somewhere and I don't know where I've put it, as usual. I'm just going to take the lid off my alcohol bottle, and I can just dip my brush in. Get my brush wet. Okay, let's give these a little shake, not that they need them. Or should I use a tool? Pound set. No, I'll do drops. So I'm just going to do a couple of drops of each colour to start off with. Letting some mix in and some not. Or you can get, I love playing with alcohol. I don't know if any of you have done any art with it, but it's fabulous on Yupo paper because you can really move it around without it drying too much. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of alcohol and drip it in to get that moving and playing, and I'll just give it a little help with my brush now. Oh, I've gone all croaky. Just to move it around. I'm trying to do the darker green first. Just get some colour down first, and then we can add to it. And you can see with my brush being wet, it makes the alcohol thin out or disperse, so you get little puddles as well, which is kind of cool. That seems to be spreading around okay now. Right, I'm just going to put another bit of turquoise on to some of these areas where it's got a bit diluted, and just give it a little pounce with my brush just to get it moving. Don't want any majorly harsh edges anywhere yet. Right, I think I've got enough ink down now. Do I maybe want a little bit more green? I'll maybe drop a bit more Mermaid on. I could play with this all day, guys, so if you get fed up, fast forward. I'll just give that a little help. And now I think I need more green. I'm just giving that a little bit of help. See if the alcohol on my brush has got it moving. So I think what I'll do now is I'll just get a little bit of alcohol and put the odd drop on. Just for a bit of an effect. And maybe blow it around a little bit. Just remember, if you're going to use a straw, guys, don't inhale while you're doing it. Oh, just going to put a tiny drop there and blow it. Maybe a little bit there. And a little bit of green in this one. And then I think I'll leave it alone. She says. There, that looks kind of interesting, doesn't it? A bit funky. Now, shall I do some white with a little splatter of white or black? Or maybe a bit of metallic. Let's have a look what I've got. I think I might have a copper. Oh, I've got the copper one. And I've got a white one here, guys, so I might just mix them both up. These take a bit of stirring because they've been sat for a while, so I'll just pause it while I go and give these a really good shake. I won't be a sec. Okay guys, I've given it a really good shake now, just to make sure that the it's mixed up. And what I'm just going to let it do a couple of little splats like so, and just leave it to do what it wants to do, just to add a bit of interest. And of course that needs to air off now. Should I blow it? Just blow this little bubble here and see if it... Ooh, quite like that blown. There we go. I like the splats. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay guys, we need to let this really air off now, before we cut it and put it in the oven. This is dry, but of course the copper needs to dry, so I'll just have a little clean up. And then this can dry off, and once it's totally dry guys, I'll come and we'll cut our shapes out and maybe do a bit of something with the scraps. So I'll see you well, I'll see you in a second. Hi guys, okay, this is dry now. Guess who got covered in ink when she was cleaning a brush? Never mind. I've just give it a light pat with a bit of kitchen towel just to make sure that it's dry, because I don't want it sticking. And I am going to use cling film mainly to protect my cutters, because I would hate to not be able to get a stain off them if it does pick up on the cutters. So I'm just going to protect my cutters by using a piece of cling film or cling wrap, or whatever it is you guys call it wherever you're from. Food wrap, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Right, so let's have a see. You could put that one there and that one there, and we'll do this long one across the bottom. Just move a few things out my way because I'm all elbows, and I'm going to do it relatively close to the edge, guys, and I haven't got loads of waste. You know, I'm not a fan of a lot of waste. Oh, and I think this is going to be a tough one to go through because of the hole in the middle. So let me just grab, I'm just going to use my block to help me press it down. There we go. It comes in handy, this block, especially if my hands are, and I'm going to leave that in, then it doesn't get distorted when I'm cutting the others. So let's do this one here, and again, oh, I think that one might be a bit close. I'll do that one in a sec, guys. Let me do this one because it's out the way, and then I'll do that other one last. Let's try and pick up some interesting splats. I'll do this one. Oh, it's tough to cut through with the cling film. Again, I'll just use my block to help me press it down. I may have to tidy the edges up a little, but I think that's gone through okay. Okay, let's just take this one out, and hopefully it won't distort too much when I do this one. I can always pop it back over if I need to. Oh, and again, that one's quite tough. I'll just press it down, give it a little wiggle, then I know it's gone through. There we go. I'm gently peeling because it may take a little bit of the foil off, but because of what I've used underneath, it should be okay. It's peeled a tiny bit off with the pressure. Got a bit of film stuck there. Off you pop, thank you. Okay, I'm just going to loosen this first. Oh, 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 and get rid of this excess. That didn't cut through the best, but it's okay. Let's just get it off. There we go. I'll just pop that waste to one side for now. Now then, I'm just wiping over with my finger because the tiniest bit of some of the foil lifted a little bit. I just want to make sure that it's down. That should be okay now, and I'm not going to mess with them too much, guys, because I just want to make sure they're fine. I am just going to burnish this one with my fingers because it's done that little divot in the middle, and that might just help it a bit. That's better. Right, I'm going to dome this one, so I'm just going to lift this one up, see if we can pop that middle out. Let me just pop this back over. I'll have to clean it with alcohol, but that centre bit hasn't cut out very well. There we go, that's better. It's not stained it, so that's something at least. Okay, That's that one. Let's pick this one up and put it on there. That's that one. And this one I want to dome. If I can find my egg, oh, it's there right at the side of me. Let's move that little nubbin. Let's get this picked up. And this will probably make the foil crackle quite a bit, which is fine. It all adds, doesn't it? Okay, those edges are not brilliant. I'll just go around this one with my finger, but I will sand them. Let's just make sure that's smooth. So that's that one. Let's have a quick look at these. Again, I'm just going around with my fingernail, guys, just smoothing the little bits of foil that have been pushed down the side with the cutter so that they're nice and stuck. And I think this one is going to need a little bit more attention. I might just get my craft knife out and sort that middle out, because it's it didn't cut too cleanly. Let's get my craft knife. I'm just going to kind of undercut to get rid of that rough edge of clay that's in the middle. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out actually. Can you see? Just got a little bit of a rough edge on that side, so I'm just cleaning it up with my scalpel or craft knife or whatever you want to use, because it's hard to get in there to sand, isn't it? And I'll probably just grab my silicone tool and smooth it when I'm done. There, I've got the majority of that out. Let's get rid of those crumbs. There we go, that looks fine. Let me just grab one of my little tools, if I can find one, that is. Can't find my rounded edge one. Where are you? Oh, this one will do. This one's got like a huff point on it. I'm just going to go around gently and just smooth that, just to help that edge, because I know I'm not going to be able to get in there and sand it. And it's just a good way of doing it, and that's not distorted, so that's good. Okay guys, I'll go and whack these in the oven and I'll see you when they're baked. See you in a minute. Hi guys, I just thought while that was in the oven I'd do something with these scraps, because it would be an absolute shame to waste them. So there's going to be some bits that I really can't use, so I'm just going to pop them to one side. I could maybe try and make some beads or something with them. Now, there's a lovely chap in our group called Ian, and he posted a little technique with photos into the group, and he basically did this, but he did stripes and then he cut lines, and it was fabulous. A lot of the girls have tried it, and I think what I'm going to do is I'll just neaten this up a bit. I think I might just cut a few lines and kind of do a kind of take on Ian's piece. I'm sure he won't mind. I've given him credit. I'm not doing the whole thing, I'm just doing a little bit of it, So I'll just cut this into lines and then I'll put them back together, which it'll all make sense in a sec. I think that'll be enough for what I want, and I'm just going to mix these up. So let's pop that one there and that one there, trying to make sure they're all staying reasonably straight. Then I'm going to turn this one and pop it next to it, and I'll pop this quite bright blue piece in, and again try and make sure my lines are straight, and then I'll pop this bit in there. Okie dokie, I'll just trim that down a bit to make it more manageable. And then I shall bring this piece in here and join it to it, but first I'm just going to pop some copper on this. Let me trim it down a bit. Where's that copper gone? There we go. And I'm just going to pop that copper there. It's not quite to the edge, guys, because I'm going to trim it right to the edge in a second. Just so I know I've got a nice clean line. And then if I roll it a little bit, it'll crackle it all, won't it? So let's cut that off, get that slither out. I'm just going to make sure that these are really well pushed up next to each other, and then I'll pick them up. Oh, get off, it's stuck to my blade. I'm going to pop them right, in fact let's turn that so that really vibrant blue's next to it. I'm going to pop that right up next to that, give it a little switch, make sure it's nice and bonny, and then I'm going to give it a shall I give it a roll to crackle it? Yeah, I will. I'll give it a roll rather than a burnish. So I'm just going to roll my roller across and get it to crackle. There we go. I think that will do. Just make sure those lines have stayed straight. Okay, now then, cutter. Let's think what will fit. Is that too big? Oh, perfect. I'll use this cutter. Oh, and I forgot to put cling film on, didn't I? But never mind. I'm just going to give that a little squish that way just to make sure that those pieces are properly joined, because I can see there it's lifted the line a little bit. And of course I've got foil around the edges, so I'll just tidy that up before I do anything with it. this curve. Oh yes. Just getting those tiny bits of flake off, guys, that have pushed down with the cutter. Hopefully that alcohol ink won't stain that cutter. There we go. I think that'll be okay. And I think that'll look quite funky once it's baked. So I shall get this picked up. Oh, my blade's filthy. And popped on a bit of paper. What I am going to do, guys, is just to be on the safe side, there's just a couple of lines there, can you see? So if I give it just a little burnish, it should make sure that that black, because I don't want to make it any thicker, it should make sure that that black's perfectly joined in. I'm not putting a great deal of pressure on. I'm just making sure that that back is a bit better consolidated, and that's fine. And of course it's helped to the front by doing that. Right, I shall pop this to one side and get it in the oven. I'm just pressing that edge back together. It's a bit unhappy, but the I'll resin this one so it'll be fine once it's done. I may pop a little hole in this one actually. Yes, I think I will, and I'll do it now before it's baked because that's a bit simpler. So I do quite a chunky hole. Is that central? Nope, it's not. There we go. I always do these things by eye, don't I? Let's just cut ourselves a nice clean hole out. There we go. Just make sure that hasn't distorted. Right guys, I shall pop that in the oven as well. I may make a little bead to sit on top of that with this copper. Right, I'll pop this in with the others and I'll see you when they're all baked. See you in a minute. Hi guys, we're out the oven. There's the one I made with the scraps. The back's a little bit messy. There's the donut one. There's the kind of shield shaped one, and I put one of my little rings on the back as you've seen me do before. And there's the long thin one. Now I think what I'm going to do is put some which ones shall I do? That one's dead easy. I'll not do that one for the minute, guys. I will just get some little stands out and I'm just going to resin. Might varnish that one. I'm just going to resin these two. I'll just pop them on a stand. Most of you have probably seen my resin video by now, but if you haven't, I'll leave a little doodah for you to go and have a look. These are just some little stands I've made, and I've just got my nail brush, and I always wet with a bit of acetone, then it doesn't introduce bubbles. And I've just got some UV resin here that my friend gave me that I'm just going to try out. She said it's very similar to the normal one I use. So I'm just going to put a blob on, get the surface coated initially, like so. I'll just go around the edges. I like to just get one decent coat on first, and then I'll put another coat on if I want a bit of a dome or similar on it. But that's coated quite nicely. I can't see any air bubbles or anything. I'll just make sure that it's got a little bit down that hole. There we go. And then I'll just do this one, and I'll just pop them straight into the UV lamp. There we go. So just an initial, this is just how I do it, guys. We've all got our own way of doing stuff, haven't we? I feel like I've got more control this way, so that's why I do it this way. There we go. Right, one decent coat on. Just check my edges, make sure that everything's in. There we go. Can't see any surface issues, so I'll just go and pop these in, and I'll be back in a sec when the first one's done. Hi guys, these are all done. I gave them another coat and put them in, just a light coat. So there's the donut, off-center donut. There's the shield style one. And there's the bit I did with the scraps. I am going to string these up nicely. I realise I haven't done it for a while, so I've just got a Buna cord, rubber cord. This is a 3mm with 3mm end caps. Actually, that might be a 4mm. I think it's a 4mm. And it's just one of those magnetic ones. And I'm hoping this will fit through this hole. Yes, it will. Oh, and we've got a Doris. Can you? Thank you. That cat will be the death of me, I tell you. So I'm just going to put that on a simple cord. I think that's all it needs. And that's about a 20. In fact, I'll measure it for you. It's a 19 inch. So it'll be more like a choker style. And then this one I thought we would just put on a simple waxed cotton cord, and this is a 3mm, 2mm wax cotton cord, and I'm just going to do a simple knot on this, as I do. You've seen me doing it before, where I do the little twist and lock, and I think that would look nice with there. I've got some beads here. I'm just going to thread a copper bead on, just to add a bit of interest, like so. So that's that one. And for this one I'm going to do some sari cord. This is just black sari ribbon, and I've dug out some copper end caps. These are just under 5mm end caps. I've got some beads to slide onto the sari ribbon, which we'll do in a sec. I just need another one of those ones. And I've got a lobster clasp and a couple of jump rings. So I'll just find the middle, and I'll do it that way with this one, and I'm just going to put the sari ribbon on. Now this pulls quite tight, so I may not have to do the locking knot thing. Yeah, I think that'll be fine, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is down each one, I'm just going to feed these beads. I should have maybe taped this end, but I'm sure I can get it through. Let's get my tweezers. Nope. Find a pokey tool. I know it will go through, guys, it's just because it's the sari cord. It's I'll use a cocktail stick. There we go. Because it's quite tatty on the ends, just makes it a little bit difficult. So I'm not going to knot these or anything, guys. They tend to stay reasonably well on this sari cord. You could put a knot in if you were worried about them moving around. Oh, just a bit fiddly. There we go. So that's those on that side. I'll just move them down a little bit, like so. Let's get these others on. This one might be a bit easier because it's a bit thinner on this side, but I will still use my cocktail stick. Oh, one there. Doris, she's chomping away. Stop it. She's been so naughty today. She came bounding in earlier and knocked the camera and everything flying. It's a good job I wasn't filming. So I chuffed her out, and she knows she's in the bad books, which is why she's just come in and gone over there. Little monster that she is. There we go. So that's just those copper beads. Let me just get them equal-ish. There. So that's them. And I'll just do these ends. All I'm going to do with this, guys, is put a drop of super glue in, push it in, put another drop of super glue and push it in. And I just use the super glue gel. I do have a few different glues and stuff, but I just find with this sari stuff, so I've got some in. There we go, just a little drop first. And I'll just pop the end in and pack it with the cocktail stick as much as I can. And then I just like to put another little drop in and just push a little bit more in. It's pretty good, this Gorilla Glue gel. It sets pretty quick as well. Oh, I've just got to be careful because it's stuck to my cocktail stick. Let's do it from that side. There. And I'll do this one. Just a bit of gel in the bottom. Poke my end in initially to catch in that first dollop, and then I kind of move it to one side so I know that there's some metal there, and just squeeze another little bit in and just stuff the sari ribbon in like so. And we'll just let that one set a second. Let me just wipe my nozzle and put the lid back on. There we go. And then we've just got a couple of jump rings at the ends. These are just antique copper ones, and these are quite sturdy. Sometimes they're a little bit on the soft side, copper ones, but you can always, if you stick them to a little bit of tape and just give them a gentle tap with your jewellery hammer, or you know, whatever you use, it'll harden them up. Just making sure that that's nice and flat. And let's get another one. Oh, they've magnetised to my I'll put my lobster clasp on and get that on there. Just give it a little wiggle to harden it, and then I'll just like to give it a squeeze to make sure it's together. And there we go. A really simple little sari cord necklace. So there we go guys, just 3 ideas for you to do. Sari cord, simple Buna or rubber cord, and this one obviously hasn't got any crimps on or anything, but I can just put a simple crimp on the end of that one. So there we go, 3 lovely little pendants. Really quick technique, but unusual, especially with the UV resin. Just be careful guys, you know, make sure you've got your windows open and you use gloves and the such. But I think it's the best, isn't it? The best finish you're gonna get. So that's just those. I shall take some nice photos, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye now.